Thank you, Program Director. My name is Lesego Tamenti. Tamenti is my maiden surname. On paper, I still go with my then married surname, Mochopio. So don't be surprised when you look for me at social media. I hate admin. I haven't done any of that admin. They haven't introduced Toriketlo Buagang today. But before I even go there, I was Panti, about Dida in absentia. Thank you so much for giving me the platform. Born and bred in Pretoria, Harangua, then moved to Mapani in 1997. That's when then I've met Ausdida and Abu Panti. Yo, swap it. The other way around. And you know what? I think I was so young. I was a teen by then, and they've always looked like this. I mean, I went into marriage. I had my daughter, and she still looks like this. So continue doing whatever that you're doing because you still look the same. So today, maybe just a bit of a disclaimer. I'm not an expert when it comes to marital things, divorce. I'm here to speak as a divorcee, but my divorcee status does not define who I am. That's just putting it out there. I'm a firm believer in marriage. I'm a firm believer in what the Mugwenas are doing. And I'm actually quite encouraged to see in the room, there's just a whole lot of couples. And I'm like, yo, this thing was, it's possible. Maybe, you know, the next time around, one will also, you know, be Mrs. Mama again. Okay, you know, it's a bit difficult to cover my experience in 30 minutes, but I'll try to sort of capture it, you know. Like I said, I met my then potential ex-husband when I was 25. 25 years of age. My ex-hubby was 10 years older than me. There's a reason why I'm giving you this background, because I want to give you context in terms of how I actually got to where I am today. A 25-year-old meeting a 35-year-old man, right? At the age of 25, I think I was quite matured. I mean, I could handle a conversation with a 35-year-old, right? But that's not all that it is to marriage. Holding a civil conversation or knowing how to cook, unlike us Panti, meaning a shy bot. I'm not the one who Kenya pumpkin bobeting. My mom, all of us from where I come from, we cook. I'm from a family of cooks. So I thought, no man, I can cook, I can clean. Don't be fooled by the 32-inch. I clean, I cook. And I thought then, you know, I am that house, that wife material, right? Fine, I got married. And actually, I've put themes in terms of Nale, I was trying to actually aligned in terms of the themes, which I would like to cover for today, right? And the first thing that we agreed is the importance of knowing the truth about marriage before you go in. And I'm talking here marriage and not wedding. Little girl at the age of 25, obviously then I'm excited about my wedding day. Unlike any other girl, I'm not your typical girl or I'm excited about the long white dress, like and barefoot pots. That's the definition of a wedding for me. So I was excited about that. Having more you know, the pala, tradition and that. I'm that typical woman. So I was excited about that, just like any other girl. But unfortunately, the foundation was wrong. And I'm saying the foundation was wrong, not because of the partner. I'll get into that. Because of more often, divorce, it does not matter who initiated the divorce, right? We always look back to the partner, forgetting to look back in the mirror. Where did I go wrong as a young girl? I was a young girl, I didn't know who I was. I was a young girl, I didn't know and understand myself. That's where I went wrong. I went in, yes. Ke nna Lesego, I work for a bank, I drive a small car, independent by then, you know? So I couldn't really say I went in because of I was looking at, okay, he's gonna buy me this. It wasn't because of that, but I was looking for something else. I've mentioned the age gap, and I'm not saying when there's a huge age gap, then there's something or it's a red flag. But I went in with the wrong foundation. By then, I did not know who my father is. Context is very important. You cannot go into a marriage or be in partnership with someone else without knowing who you are, where you're from, and what you're about. That's a recipe for disaster. Panti was addressing the issue about men raising boys. You meet this total stranger. I'm from Pretoria, miles and miles away, we are Spain. I don't even know him and his family from above. So he's a broken man. I'm a broken woman. I don't know who my father is. I'm 25. I'm a young woman. I'm looking for a father figure. I'm desperate. There's that void in me that's looking for a father. Right? I meet a young man, matured. He speaks the language, talks the talks, walk the walk, and we fall in love. I'm not gonna define it, but for the purpose of this session, I'm gonna say we fall in love. We got married, and years later, there was a child. There's a child. I've got a 10-year-old beautiful daughter. And you know, I'm not trying to be any biblical or whatever on you, but there's a scripture that I go with, and that is my scripture for days. It's Romans 8:28. All things work together for good for those who love the Lord. All things, underline. So I'm here today. I do not have any regrets in terms of my divorce. That was my journey. I wouldn't change it for a thing. From that journey, I've got a beautiful 10-year-old daughter. From that journey, I'm the woman that I am today. I wouldn't change it for a thing. I'm actually jealous about my experience. Very jealous. Very protective about my experience. Met a guy, and now in terms of the first theme, we are talking about the importance of knowing the truth about marriage before you go in. Pre-marital counseling. We went for pre-marital counseling, you know, from your professional counseling to your church counseling. We've been through all of those, all through that. But I think now looking at it in hindsight, I would do things differently. You know, I believe in counseling. I'm not saying, oh, no, don't go for counseling, what. But what I would like to encourage, maybe the couples that are actually looking to get married, to commit, I would actually encourage those couples, if you are looking at going for counseling, run your own counseling. You know who you are. Your partner already knows who they are. Because in most cases, counseling it's based on theory, right? They will tell you about the 3 things that will break marriages: finances, commitment, I don't know what's the other thing, sex, lack of sex. It's theory. Communication. That's theory, we all know that. If they ask you now, what are the 3 things that have the potential of breaking marriage? Oh, communication, finances, and the other one, now I forgot. Okay, so you need to run your own counseling. You go there, you know your faults as a person. You know your background as a person. You become naked. Somebody spoke about the difference between being naked and being transparent. You become transparent. Oh, this is who I am. You know, I'm now inviting another person into my life. So how I would do things differently now in terms of counseling, I wouldn't just sit down and be told that lenyalo leso ma pele rega leisinyana painty umu entize in the bedroom. I would actually run my own counseling. I would go and introduce myself. Lesego Tamenti. I'm 25 years old. I'm raised by a single woman, very strong woman. Therefore, I'm a very strong woman. Very strong personality. How do I mute it a little bit? Another traditional man. I can't even say, this is how we do things. You know what I'm saying? So you go there, you know yourself. I think run your own counseling. You meet another guy. A guy they need to tell you their side of the story as well. I'm so and so, I'm raised by a single mom, therefore I'm a bitter, angry man. Run your own counseling. Do not be dependent on the people that are sitting behind the table to tell you, hurry, in marriage, talk about communication is important, talk about finances, talk about sex, talk about this. Go there as naked. If you want the process to be as effective as, I don't know what, be as open and honest about who you are, your expectations. Do you even understand the meaning of marriage? Do you understand it? Or are you back then a 25-year-old Lesego who was excited about the pala and the pizza? Or I'm getting married. Be open. Know your story. Know who you are. It's not just about fun and games. Marriage is not that. I was about to mention, we think the 5-year thing. Next time it's only 5-year thing. So today I got to know what the 5-year thing is. The other thing that I lacked as well, I spoke about the importance of not knowing who I was back then. I was a little girl just looking for a father figure. And I got that from then, my ex-husband. Another thing that I lacked then, self-love, which is so important. Wait, see, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a bit biased. Banna, they are just born with self-love. A man wouldn't just accept what they're not comfortable with. Us as women, we compromise. You want white carpets, he wants red carpets. You say, it's okay, let's go for red carpets. Self-love, it starts with the smallest things ever. Can we go eat breakfast at Wimpy? But I felt like a mac and bean today. Can we compromise and then we'll do, every time it's you. Auspantu was mentioning about this, the thing of it's a tradition. Every Christmas we have to travel. N1, Ibizigarod. Do you have a say in that? No. Self-love is important. And I'm making this silly examples, but it goes deeper than that. It goes way deeper than that. It's important as a woman before you get into any form of a relationship. Whether you decide to commit, get married, or just a partnership, it is so important to know who you are. It is so important to love yourself as a woman. Otherwise, you'll go there, you'll have expectations, and you'll be killed by your own expectations. You would expect him to buy you flowers on Mother's Day, and you'll feel angry. You would go there, and expect your Valentine's Day is celebrated, and it's like, it's not celebrated. If it's not celebrated, take yourself out as a woman. Take yourself out, there's nothing wrong with that. Take him out, there's nothing wrong with that. It comes with self-love. Don't always have expectations, no ways. Self-love is just about having your time, having you. Don't overextend yourself in terms of what you cannot do. That was one of my failures as well. I used to say yes to everything. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but I said yes even in situations where I didn't want to say yes. So self-love is important. Know who you are. And you can only say no if you really know who you are and what you're about. And there's nothing wrong in being under the leadership of your husband, but you also need to be an individual and know who you are as a woman. That is so important. That is, if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that I'm intentional about self-love now. I'm very intentional. If I do not want to go anywhere, if I do not want to go out, it's my time. I light candles for myself. I run a bubble bath for myself. I'm very intentional about self-love. And remember, baggage attracts baggage. Only now that I'm so intentional about self-love, already, Jay, when you approach me as a man and you come with stories, there and there, red flag is a red flag. This time around it's not pink, it's red. I see there and there and I deal with it there and there. It's important. It is extremely important. I can't stop emphasizing this. And again, the second theme which we're talking about is the importance of defining expectations. Most of us are killed by our own expectations. Our own expectations. We create a prince, a king in our head. After we do that, the next thing, if a person acts like, you're like, no, but this is not the person that I created. We are killed by our own expectations. So much so. It is so important to sit down, especially, I say now to my younger sister who's she turned 30 last year, December. I say to her, you know what? I actually wish I was in your position, 30 and single, because I would do things differently. So differently. Not that I'm saying I'm late, but what I'm saying is, for those of you who are still not yet married and who are actually looking to get married, it is very important to discuss the expectation to the minute detail. Do not think like, important. Discuss your expectations to the minute detail. Where do you think we're gonna be based, our family? I told you like you discuss expectations to the minute detail. To the minute detail. The Christmas, una hanori, nalo na nyalana kleberetsang so. Ah, masishiro. Right? Bali, Mauritius, Cape Town, at least. Ari, you discuss expectations to the minute detail. The information is important. You are important. Babes, in public, at least more in my paramotoisa and then area mall of the north go not lapan. You discuss expectations to the minute detail. Bana, bana. Huh? When I as divorces on a banner, those are the discussions that are we are discussing serious things. You ask us about, okay, now kids, you come with your 5, I come with my 3, then do we want more? Yes or no? You discuss expectations. You do not just go in there with your 5 kids, with his 5 kids, and then we expect the one not for expectations to the minute detail. To the minute detail. Otherwise, you'll be I expect to eat hot pap every day. Now, when there was no such thing. Nearly creamy, nearly was Cynthia, the signature. Now, I come to let's be open. Linyalo, it's not a child's play, guys. You are saying I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. It's important to know where they come from, how he relates to his mother. You're not even now. I would get worried. I was on the contrary. When you were saying it, now I would be worried. I would judge you based on how you treat your mothers and sisters and the waitresses. That's how I would judge you. So you look. Marriage is a commitment. It's such a commitment. That person also each and every single day. People transform. The Lesego that I was when I got married, it's not the same woman that I am today. Completely different. Sometimes, do you have that feeling that you look at your ex? They didn't know. So it's important. And talking about transformation, like I'm saying, people transform. It's important to keep up with your partner. I'm not saying as a PhD. All I'm saying is learn to improve yourself as a person, as a woman, as a man. When you're a woman, Ali busy book. Do something, project management, something, anything. Do something. Learn a course, learn a cooking skill. Do something. People transform. The next thing when you look at her or you look at him, when you're no longer my type, it's because of that. You are not transforming. You are not running the same race. It is important. That's another mistake that happened in my marriage. I'm not going to say who was who. But that was another thing. We didn't run the same race. Anyway, so what led me to divorce and the effects of my divorce. While standing here next to you, I can say, like I said, I do not regret my journey. I do not have sleepless nights about my divorce. I do not toss and turn. You know why? Because I fought before I can actually make that decision. I fought. I fought. I've got a friend of mine in this room that knows. I fought. I fought. Hey, when you have problems, don't go to your mother first, go to his mother. That was the first thing. I went to his mother. Hey, ma, this and this and that. I tried. Counselling. Hey, this and this and that. Hey, there was a show on SABC3. Show it. Yo. I level the show Fix a Marriage. Can't you record it for me? Yo. Nike the boy. You want to listen? So the reason why today I can peacefully sleep and I can peacefully move on with my life is because of I know I exhausted all avenues. The last kick of a dying horse, I was like, I'm raising a daughter. I am raising a girl child. I do not want her to think, Hore, this is a definition of love. This is a definition of marriage. When somebody walks in, the helper and the daughter quickly run upstairs because of the tension and the energy that the person will bring into the room. I was not physically abused. I was not, maybe emotionally to a certain extent. And you know, sometimes when you think about, no, I'm leaving. Wow, Shapa. And you think, hey, maybe the reasons they are not enough. Now my partner was physically present every day. He was there, physically present, but emotionally he was in India. Emotionally he was in India. I was the loneliest married woman ever. I was the loneliest married woman ever. The person Ali emotionally unavailable. Ali day, most South Africa, go Gauteng. Maripelo ili India. I see you. Therefore, that resulted in him not having a relationship with my daughter. And I remember my last words before I can actually make that call to a lawyer. I was like, I actually apologized. I'm like, you know what? For all the years, I would like to apologize for expecting you to give me what you don't have. I expected him to give me what he doesn't have. Self-love. How do you give from an empty cup? His cup was empty. Empty. He wasn't enough for himself and I expected him to be enough for two. Painful, painful situation. And I was like, I'm raising a girl child. I do not want my daughter years later or when she's 25 to go and look out for a father the same way that I did when I was 25. I couldn't. There was no relationship. There was nothing. The house was cold. I tried everything. Like I said, I am that typical girl who makes a house a home. That was the last kick of a dying horse for me. I looked at my daughter and I was like, this coldness, this energy that is in the house, it's not good for her. Maybe not got the threshold to accept it. This was my decision. This was my choice. But I don't have to put her through that. I can't. I can't do that to my daughter. So for me, you know, after realizing that this person, this poor person, he needs help himself. He's a good guy, you know. I'm not saying he's a bad person or whatever. And the intention is not even to speak ill of other people. That's not the intention. But we need to realize our own brokenness before we go into marriage. We bleed on each other. We bleed on each other. Let's learn to fix ourselves first before we go and bleed on other people. So I hope it's a lesson for you. It is a lesson for me going forward. Like I'm saying, I'm very intentional now about who I am as a person and what I want as a person. And going forward as well, it's important who I let in my space. So, hence in the beginning I said, I am here to speak as a divorcee, but my divorce status does not define who I am. It doesn't. So I go to the Mall of Africa, divorcee. My status might have changed by then. So I hope you get something from the little that I was able to cover today. I really hope. Women, self-love is important. Love yourself. Do not stand for abuse in the name of you know, voice out your pain, voice out your hurts. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Most of all, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to that man as well. If he's you're raising broken men. Broken men. So, Auspanti, it's important. The ministry, Yalona, is so important. We need to raise, but they are broken. They're so broken. So, that's why I'm saying I support the ministry Elias and Auspanti, because we've got a whole lot of broken men out there. Men are not talking. They get into relationships, they get into marriages, they bleed on us. They bleed on us. It's so sad, it's so painful. Be kind to yourself, men and both women.